Snow falls thick outside Hennepin County Medical Center, layering my windshield in a white sheet that feels strangely protective. I sit frozen in the driver's seat, too drained to start the engine after a double shift. My scrubs cling to my skin, carrying the sterile tang of disinfectant mixed with the soft perfume of an elderly patient who'd hugged me too. Tightly before discharge, the dashboard clock blinks. 8:17 p.m. I should be driving home to Lily, but my body feels anchored by the kind of exhaustion only 12 hours of caregiving can bring. Just 5 more minutes of stillness before the nightly cycle: dinner, bath, and bedtime stories. My phone buzzes from the cup holder where I tossed it earlier, the family group chat. Probably Mom asking when I'll pick up Lily. My parents have been watching her after school, a favor they never let me forget. I reach for the phone, expecting the usual passive-aggressive note about bedtime routines. Instead, my mother Ellen's message glows on the screen with unnerving cheerfulness. "We're hosting your sister Hannah's fiancé Brad and his family this year. There's no room for you and Lily at the table." My thumb hovers, certain I've misread. Then another chime. "But we'd still love it if you cooked, like always." The air leaves my lungs all at once. Not invited to Christmas dinner, but expected to prepare it. Before I can process the sting, a new message appears. My father Ron's. "And don't forget my Apple Watch Series 9 this time." My hands tremble against the steering wheel. Warm breath fogs the windshield, turning my small car into a clouded cocoon that suddenly feels suffocating instead of safe. I tighten my grip, knuckles blanching, breaths coming quicker, small. Desperate clouds in the freezing air. 3 years ago, I sat in another car signing divorce papers while my then-toddler Lily slept in her car seat. I remember thinking that coming back to Minneapolis would bring stability, family, support, familiarity. A chance to rebuild. That same day, I packed our life into boxes and drove home, settling into a modest apartment just 10 minutes from my parents' house. They said they'd help with Lily. I told myself we wouldn't be alone. And they did, help that is, but with strings tied to every minute of childcare. Every school pickup turned into a favor I could never repay. Every afternoon they watched Lily become another quiet debt I owed. I close my eyes and I can still see Mom's face the day the developmental pediatrician confirmed Lily's autism diagnosis. That brief tightening of her lips, the flicker of disappointment before she rearranged her features into rehearsed sympathy. "Well," she'd said in the parking lot afterward, "we'll just have to make sure she learns to behave properly. No one needs to know." The memory hits like ice forming in my chest. Ellen cares more about appearances than love. Brad's wealthy. Connecticut family gives her the perfect social badge, the kind of status she can flaunt at her charity luncheons. My nurse's paycheck and my autistic daughter don't belong in that glossy picture. For 12 years, I've been the invisible backbone of every family event. I planned Hannah's law school graduation, spending $900 of my own salary on catering, while Ellen soaked up the praise for the elegant setup. I took unpaid leave to drive Dad to every back surgery appointment, reading medical journals in waiting rooms to stay sane. I cooked for Mom's charity events, helping her impress board members with appetizers she proudly called our family recipes. When her wrist arthritis worsened, I took over completely. Somewhere along the way, I stopped being a daughter and became household staff, without anyone ever naming it. The snow thickens outside, silencing the world. I watch it build up, a wall between me and the life waiting beyond my windshield. Then last week floods back, Lily glowing as she talked about a documentary on historical trains she'd seen at school. The steam locomotives from the 1800s used coal to heat water that made steam that pushed. "Sweetheart," Mom had cut in, voice syrupy but edged. "Not everyone wants to hear about trains right now." Lily's face had fallen, confusion and hurt flickering across her bright eyes. That look still follows me. Now as the snow blurs everything beyond the glass, the truth lands with sharp, undeniable force. My family is ashamed of my daughter. Something inside me gives way, the dam of years spent accommodating, apologizing, explaining. But as it breaks, something else stirs. Raw, unfamiliar, and quietly powerful. Something that feels dangerously close to freedom. My fingers hover over the phone screen. Muscle memory urges me to call Ellen back, apologize for the delay, and agree to make the perfect Christmas dinner, while Lily and I eat leftovers later. Years of appeasing, smoothing things over, and swallowing small insults rise up like muscle memory, a script I know too well. But then Lily's voice echoes in my head. Why does Grandma get mad when I talk about trains? I lock the screen instead of calling. The phone goes black, my reflection staring back, eyes clear. Josette. I start the car and ease out of the parking space, snow crunching softly beneath the tires. I drive home to Lily. For the first time in years, my mind feels still, free of the constant pressure to keep everyone else happy. In its place, something sharper forms. A clarity that feels both dangerous and necessary. That night, Lily's gentle snores drift through the thin apartment walls while I spread my phone, laptop, and a stack of receipts across the kitchen table. The blue glow of the screen paints faint shadows across my face as I scroll through old texts, months, then years deep. You know we can't do this without you, sweetheart. My mother's Easter message stares back at me. I'd stayed up until 2 a.m. cooking a ham dinner for 12, then driven 40 minutes to drop it off before my hospital shift. I scroll further, an archaeologist sifting through the ruins of my own life. Don't make Mom stress again. Hannah's text from last Thanksgiving resurfaces. I dared to ask if I really needed to make all 7 side dishes Ellen wanted. I made 9. Borrowed $200 from my emergency fund to cover the groceries. My banking app opens. The numbers blur together. Transfers to my parents' accounts. $175 for Dad's birthday. $300 for Hannah's engagement party venue. $86 for Mom's medication the insurance didn't cover. Even photos in my gallery bear the proof. I scroll through photos from the St. Paul Children's Hospital fundraiser last spring. Ellen stands center stage in a powder blue dress, soaking in applause for the elegant catering I'd pulled together over 3 sleepless nights. Food she never once acknowledged I'd made. My grip tightens around my phone, a dull ache spreading across my knuckles. I open my calculator app and start tallying grocery costs for family dinners. Gifts, they'd called them. Emergency help, when Ron's car broke down that weekend. I catered Hannah's law school study group during finals. The numbers keep rising, my breath catching as the total appears. $11,400. $11,400 spent on my family in just 1 year. My fingers tremble as I check my bank account, $438 left until payday. Not even enough to cover next week's childcare. If my parents actually follow through on their threat to stop watching Lily, Ellen's manipulation has been masterful, almost admirable in its precision. Every request wrapped in just enough affection to hide the demand beneath. Every guilt trip tethered to some past kindness that must apparently be repaid forever. Hannah learned from the best. Her messages always starting with sisterly concern before sliding into yet another request. Wedding planning has only accelerated the pattern. Lavish tastes paired with the quiet expectation that I'll fill the gaps. Ron stays mostly in the background except when it's something he wants. The Apple Watch, the golf clubs, the Waterford Crystal whiskey decanter that still sits unused in their display cabinet. And now Brad, Hannah's fiancé, whose wealthy Connecticut family has become the latest excuse to push Lily and me further from the holiday table. His parents coming for Christmas has turned me from daughter to caterer in one neat text message. My legs feel unsteady as I move to the bookshelf where old photo albums sit gathering dust. The earliest one shows me at 6, standing just behind Hannah in our matching Christmas dresses. My smile is hesitant, hers certain. Hannah in the spotlight, me in the wings, a pattern set early. I flip through birthdays, Christmases, graduations. In every photo, the same formation. Hannah receiving, me providing, Ellen beaming, me fading. The evidence is so clear, I wonder how I never noticed it before. Then one picture stops me cold, my 12th birthday. I'm in the kitchen, carefully frosting a chocolate cake while Ellen lies on the couch with one of her headaches. I'd made my own birthday cake so my mother could rest. They've always seen me as the help. The words slip out as barely a whisper, yet they ring with truth in the quiet apartment. Tears stream down my face, not from anger but from grief. Grieving the years I'll never get back. A childhood spent earning love that should have been freely given. Dr. Patel's words from last week echo in my mind. You can't fix people who refuse to see you. He'd said it about a patient, but the truth of it slices through my fog of family obligation. My phone buzzes with Ellen's incoming call, the third tonight. For the first time in my adult life, I silence it. Her name flashes, then fades. A small act of rebellion, but it feels monumental. Next week is Dad's birthday dinner. I text my colleague, Tamara, "Can you tell them I got called in?" If my mother phones the floor? Her reply comes quickly. Absolutely. We've got you. I already know I won't be at that dinner. The text feels both terrifying and liberating to send. By the next day, Ellen's voicemails have started to pile up. Her tone shifts from confusion to irritation, then to thinly veiled threats. Hannah's texts come in waves. Where are you then? Mom's getting upset. Finally, you're being childish. Mom's upset. Each ignored message feels like pulling a stone from a wall that's crushed me for years. Every unanswered demand becomes a boundary I should have set long ago. My laptop dings, an email notification. Dr. Patel has invited Lily and me to dinner on Saturday. Lily talked about trains last time. His son has a collection he'd love to show her. Genuine interest in my daughter, no strings attached. The idea feels foreign, almost suspicious, after years of conditional family affection. My neighbor, Mrs. Johnson, knocks softly, offering to watch Lily so I can attend a support group for parents of special needs children. You need some time for yourself, she insists, waving off any offer of payment. I log into the hospital's employee portal and find information about the group I've avoided for years. The description reads, "You are not alone." Before I can overthink it, I click register. Later that night, scrolling mindlessly to quiet the guilt of ignoring my family, an ad flashes across my screen. Christmas at the Waldorf Astoria, Chicago. Train tickets, 2-night stay, Christmas brunch, $3,200. The exact amount I'd saved for family gifts. My finger hovers over book now, my pulse quickening. Fear and anticipation in equal measure. I take a steady breath and click. The confirmation email arrives instantly. No second thoughts. No explanations. For the first time in years, I've chosen Lily and myself over everyone else's expectations. 3 days later, the hospital lobby hummed with the mid-afternoon shift change when Ellen Miller's voice sliced through the calm like a scalpel. "How dare you ignore our family after everything we've done for you?" Ashley froze mid-step at the nurse's station, clipboard in hand. Her mother stood by the entrance, clutching a designer handbag against her chest, face twisted with righteous fury. Several patients in the waiting area turned to watch. "Mom," Ashley whispered, moving toward her carefully. "This is my workplace," Ellen's voice climbed higher. 3 days without a single callback. "Is this how we raised you?" Before Ashley could respond, Mike, the security guard who'd once helped her change a flat tire last winter, appeared beside her. His stance was steady, his tone calm. "Everything okay here?" "Nurse Miller?" Ellen said sharply. "My daughter's going through a little rebellion, some misguided independence phase at 33. Ashley's cheeks burned. "I need to finish my shift. We can talk later." "Later," Ellen repeated with a brittle laugh. "You've been saying that for days." Mike subtly shifted his weight. "Ma'am, our staff needs to focus on patient care. I can escort you to the cafeteria if you'd like to wait." "Escort me?" Ellen cut in, her eyes flashing with offended drama. "I'm simply trying to speak to my daughter about her family responsibilities." 2 more security guards appeared, responding to Mike's discreet signal. Ashley watched as her mother's expression flickered, from outrage to quick calculation, realizing the scene was turning against her. "Fine," Ellen snapped. "We'll continue this when you remember where your priorities lie." She turned sharply, letting the guards guide her toward the exit. "Christmas is about family, Ashley. Not whatever this is." The elevator doors shut behind her 20 minutes later. Her hands trembled as she pressed the button for the parking garage. Her phone buzzed, Hannah's 4th Instagram notification of the day. She opened it reluctantly. A sepia-toned photo of their childhood stockings hanging from the fireplace filled the screen. The caption read, "Some people forget family comes first at Christmas. Traditions matter. Family first, priorities, 3 missed calls from her father." 6 from Ellen. A family group text appeared next. "We need to finalize holiday commitments. Ashley, please confirm your cooking schedule as soon as possible." Her phone rang again. Aunt Margaret this time. The 3rd extended family member to check in since yesterday. Ashley silenced the call, hesitated, then opened her email. There it was, tucked between hospital shift updates and Lily's school newsletter, Christmas shopping list 2024, Ellen Miller. A detailed breakdown of 12 dishes Ashley was expected to prepare. No mention of their argument. No acknowledgement that she and Lily weren't welcome at Ellen's table that night, after Lily had fallen asleep clutching her favorite train encyclopedia. Ashley sat cross-legged on her bed, thumb hovering over her mother's contact before deliberately pressing block this caller. Hannah's number followed. Then Aunt Margaret's, then Cousin Jeremy's. Just for 24 hours, she decided. 24 hours of silence. Next, she opened her email settings and created a new filter, Family Folder. Auto redirect. No notifications. A small exhale escaped her. The thought of all those messages stacking up unseen made her shoulders loosen for the first time in weeks. That night, Ashley slept straight through. No 2 a.m. recipe confirmations. No dawn panic over forgotten traditions. She woke lighter, weightless almost, as morning light crept through the blinds. Lily still asleep, Ashley sat by the window, watching dawn unfold over Minneapolis. 15 minutes of quiet. 15 minutes to breathe without planning anyone else's day. The apartment felt different. Safer. Later, while Lily arranged her cereal into perfect little circles, Ashley opened a blank document on her laptop. Family patterns, she typed. The words came easily. Holidays spent cooking while everyone else relaxed. Vacation days traded for Ellen's charity events. Loans that were never repaid. Hannah's endless emergencies always overshadowing Lily's needs. Seeing it all laid out in black and white was both devastating and validating. This wasn't a normal family dynamic, give and take. This wasn't love. It was exploitation dressed as affection. Calling the therapist's office felt like stepping across a border into unfamiliar territory. First available appointment, please, she told the receptionist. Family boundaries. That evening, Ashley stood before her bathroom mirror. No. She practiced the word, watching her reflection. I won't be cooking Christmas dinner this year. Her voice trembled at first, then grew steady through repetition. Lily and I have other plans. The school's holiday concert arrived with December precision, 2 weeks before Christmas. Just as Ellen would have planned, Ashley spotted her mother and sister the moment she entered the elementary auditorium, stationed near the only exit. A tactical position that made her stomach twist. There you are, Ellen hissed as Ashley approached, Lily's hand firmly in hers. Your father's parking the car. We need to talk. After the concert, Ashley replied, steering Lily toward the row reserved for performers. Hannah stepped into their path. You're being ridiculous. Mom hasn't slept in days. My class is singing Jingle Bells, Lily said proudly, unaware of the tension. I'm going to ring the bells on the chorus. Ellen didn't even glance at her granddaughter. This tantrum needs to end, Ashley. You're embarrassing the family by ignoring us. Hannah leaned closer. We won't watch Lily anymore. Then what will you do? Something shifted in Ashley's chest. Not anger, resolve. I've already hired an after-school sitter, she said evenly. Lily and I won't be at Christmas. Ellen's perfectly applied makeup couldn't mask her shock. What will we tell Brad's family? They're expecting your cooking. I'm sure you'll manage. Ashley guided Lily past them toward the stage door, not bothering to look back at her mother's sputtering protest. 3 days later, Dr. Patel and his wife, Eliza, arrived at Ashley's apartment carrying homemade curry and freshly baked naan. A little pre-Christmas dinner, Eliza said warmly, smiling at Lily. Sandeep mentioned you might appreciate some friendly faces this week. They ate together at Ashley's small kitchen table while Lily eagerly explained the difference between Japanese and American bullet trains. Dr. Patel listened with genuine interest. No one hushed her. No one exchanged knowing glances when she spoke too long on one topic. The next morning, a basket appeared at the nurse's station, train-themed books, wooden track pieces, and a tiny conductor's hat for Lily. The card simply read, From your hospital family. The parent support group Ashley had joined, hesitantly, after Lily's diagnosis, discussed holiday boundaries in their December meeting. My mother-in-law used to make my son perform his normal tricks at every gathering, one father admitted. We haven't spent Christmas with them in 3 years. Best decision we ever made. Mrs. Johnson from next door stopped by with sugar cookies. I'll grab your mail while you're in Chicago, she offered. Ashley hadn't mentioned the trip to anyone outside of work, but gossip in the building traveled faster than holiday lights. Her supervisor approved her vacation request with a sticky note attached. Well deserved. We've got your shifts covered. A few days later, an unsigned Christmas card appeared in her mailbox. Inside, a $100 gift card and a handwritten note. The first holiday away is the hardest. It gets better. From a fellow survivor. Ashley was folding Lily's favorite striped pajamas into their suitcase when an unfamiliar number lit up her phone. She almost declined it until she recognized the area code. Her father's, using a different number to slip past her block. Taking a deep breath, she answered while setting a 5-minute timer on the microwave. Hello, Dad. Ashley. Ron's voice carried that practiced patience he used whenever explaining why bills were late. Your mother hasn't slept. Is that what you wanted? I just wanted to be treated like family, Ashley said, surprised by how steady her voice sounded. Not staff. The silence that followed was long, uncomfortably long. Ashley realized it might be the first time she'd ever truly confronted her father. Everyone's upset, he finally said, sounding genuinely confused. Hannah says you're abandoning family traditions. I'm starting new ones, with my daughter. But Christmas has always been here. At our house. Where I've always cooked, she replied quietly. But never been welcome at the table. Another pause. Longer this time. The microwave beeped, breaking the stillness. I need to go now, Dad. Merry Christmas. She ended the call before he could respond. The next day, Ashley and Lily stood beneath the glittering holiday displays at the downtown department store. Festive music drifted from hidden speakers as Lily gasped at a silver dress sparkling on a child-sized mannequin. It's perfect for the fancy hotel, Mom. Ashley checked the price tag. $78 more than she'd normally spend on something Lily would outgrow in months. But the joy in her daughter's eyes as she twirled before the mirror made the choice easy. Let's try it on, Ashley said. While Lily changed, Ashley wandered through the women's section, fingers brushing over soft fabrics she usually deemed impractical. A deep green sweater caught her attention. Simple, elegant, nothing like the functional clothes she wore for hospital shifts and family gatherings. You should try that one, the sales associate suggested. That color would look gorgeous on you. Ashley hesitated. I don't usually... Mom, look! Lily stepped out of the dressing room, the silver dress catching the light as she spun. Beautiful, Ashley murmured. Your turn, Lily urged, pointing toward the green sweater hanging in the dressing room. Ashley gazed at her reflection. The sweater fit perfectly, its color bringing warmth to her skin. When had she stopped buying things just for herself? When had every spare dollar been funneled into family gifts? Hannah's parties, Ellen's hosting, endless celebrations. You look radiant, the sales associate said as Ashley stepped out. She's smiling like she used to, Lily noted softly, brushing her hand over the sweater's sleeve. Ashley pulled out her phone and positioned Lily beside her in the mirror. Our first Christmas trip selfie, she said, snapping the photo. That evening, after Lily had fallen asleep, Ashley posted it to her private Instagram with the caption, Starting New Traditions. Then she opened her laptop and created a new folder titled Family History. Into it went years of proof. Screenshots of manipulative texts, financial spreadsheets showing a one-way flow of giving, timelines of canceled plans made to please others, and journal entries chronicling emotional manipulation. She added photos from gatherings, Ellen turning away as Lily proudly held up a drawing, Hannah taking credit for a dessert Ashley had spent hours perfecting. By 2 a.m., Ashley was still typing. She started a new document called Ellen's Credit Taking, listing every success her mother had ever claimed. Ashley's nursing degree, Hannah's law school acceptance, even Lily's early reading skills, despite Ellen's barely there presence in her granddaughter's life. The folder kept growing, securely backed up to the cloud. Not to expose anyone, just to remember. when self-doubt inevitably tried to creep back in. On December 23rd, packed bags sat ready by the door for their morning train. Ashley double-checked their tickets and hotel reservation, then closed her laptop. A new email pinged, subject line, "You'll regret this." From Hannah, Ashley's finger hovered over the delete key. Then, thinking of her folder, she clicked open instead. Hannah's message was short. "If you leave town for Christmas, don't expect to be part of this family anymore." Ashley stared at the message, a strange calm washing over her. "That sounds like freedom," she whispered into the quiet room. The December air nipped at our cheeks as Lily and I stepped onto the Amtrak platform. Above us, the sky stretched wide and cloudless, a perfect blue that felt like permission itself. Lily hugged her favorite pajamas close to her chest, the ones covered in tiny trains she refused to leave behind, even though clean hotel sheets awaited us. "Mom, I packed my sketchbook and my special headphones," she said, patting her purple backpack. The noise-canceling set had been a splurge after her diagnosis, one of the few things I'd bought without second-guessing the cost. I double-checked our tickets, an old nervous habit. Minneapolis to Chicago. 2 passengers. A one-way trip toward something that felt dangerously close to hope. The train shimmered in the winter light, its windows flashing like mirrors of promise. The sight steadied my heartbeat. We were really doing this. We were really leaving, all aboard. The conductor's voice pulled me back to the moment. Lily tugged my hand, her eyes shining with excitement. "Mom, let's find our seats," she urged, sliding into the plush seat as the train began to move. The conductor paused by our row, his weathered face folding into a kind smile as he handed Lily a paper bell ornament. "Merry Christmas, young lady," he said with a wink. Lily accepted it carefully, her small hands full of wonder. Tracing the edges with her fingertip, she murmured softly, "Thank you." The words slip out easily, carried by her joy. Her laughter spreads warmth, easing the tightness that's lived in my chest for weeks. She leans closer, her breath brushing my ear. "Mom, I think this train is taking us to our real Christmas." Something catches in my throat as I nod, gazing out the window. Minneapolis drifts slowly behind us, the hospital where I've worked endless double shifts, the apartment where our lives stayed small and cautious, and beyond the skyline, the house where I stopped being a daughter and became the help. With every passing mile, I feel the heaviness start to lift. My phone stays buried in my purse, its silence cutting through the constant hum of guilt. For once, we're only moving forward. Lily flips open her sketchbook, a clean white page glowing beneath the cabin lights. She starts to draw snowflakes, each one delicate and different. Beneath them, she carefully writes "Real Christmas" in her tidy hand. I watch her, amazed by how easily children welcome change. Back in Minneapolis, I know the storm is already brewing. I can picture Ellen, perfect nails gripping her phone, as she dials the hospital administration. "It's a family emergency," she'd begin, her voice trembling with rehearsed worry. "I'm afraid for Ashley's mental health. She's taken her daughter and vanished." Hannah would be messaging my few friends, spinning concern into gossip. "We're just worried about her," she'd say. "She's been so stressed lately. And with Lily's situation, we just want to make sure they're okay." Meanwhile, Ron, always the quiet observer, would be contacting Lily's school counselor, hinting at an unstable home life that needed oversight. Their coordinated effort would unfold exactly as I expected. A story carefully built to strip away my autonomy, to cast me not as strong but as unstable. Texts would fly between mutual acquaintances, peppered with words like ungrateful and erratic. Ellen would be calling relatives, her voice breaking perfectly as she delivered her final blow. "She's taken our granddaughter at Christmas." But I was ready for all of it, 3 days before we ever boarded this train. I'd spoken with Dr. Sanchez, the hospital administrator who oversees my department. My family situation has become difficult. I'd explained laying out just enough truth to inoculate against Ellen's inevitable call. "If anyone contacts you expressing concern about my mental state, please know it's part of a pattern of control." Dr. Sanchez nodded, her dark eyes understanding. "Family dynamics can be complicated. Take your approved vacation days, Ashley. Your work speaks for itself." I'd sent a detailed email to Mrs. Peterson, Lily's school counselor, documenting our boundary-setting journey and the family's reaction. I'm concerned they may attempt to undermine my parental authority by suggesting instability, I'd written. We are simply taking a Christmas vacation to Chicago. And now, as the Minnesota countryside rolls past our window, I pull out my phone just long enough to post a brief, factual statement on social media. Lily and I are enjoying a special Christmas trip this year. I attach a photo of Lily smiling with the Chicago skyline visible from our train window. Happiness is the best defense. I switch my phone to Do Not Disturb, allowing calls only from work and the handful of people who've shown themselves to be true friends. Then I tuck it away, returning fully to this moment of quiet triumph. The train rocks gently as we speed toward Chicago. Lily has fallen asleep, her head resting against my shoulder. Her fingers still clutch the paper bell ornament, unwilling to let go of this small kindness even in sleep. Hours later, we step into the gleaming lobby of the Waldorf Astoria, Chicago. Gold lights shimmer across marble surfaces, creating an atmosphere of magic that makes Lily gasp. The Christmas tree soars toward the ceiling, adorned with ornaments that catch and reflect the light. "Welcome to the Waldorf Astoria," the receptionist says, her smile genuine as she hands me our room keys. "Will you be dining with us for our Christmas Eve dinner tomorrow?" Yes, I answer the word, still feeling foreign and luxurious on my tongue. We have reservations. Lily spots something across the lobby and flaps her hands in excitement, a physical expression of joy she can't contain. I brace myself for the familiar looks. The raised eyebrows, the subtle shifting away that I've learned to anticipate in public spaces. But they don't come. The staff continue their work. A bellhop smiles in Lily's direction, and no one stares or judges. They simply accept her enthusiasm as natural as something requiring no correction or apology. A realization washes over me with such force that I have to steady myself against the marble counter. This is how it should always be. Lily looks up at me, her eyes bright with the same understanding. "They don't mind me being me," she whispers. I nod, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. "We deserve this treatment always. We are not the problem." We never were. That evening, after Lily has fallen asleep in our king-sized bed, I sit by the window overlooking the twinkling city and write in my journal. We are not the problem. We never were. The words look different. Written down. More permanent, more true. My phone buzzes with a notification that bypasses the Do Not Disturb setting. It's a text from Dr. Patel. "Ellen called the hospital. I told her you're exactly where you should be." I smile, picturing Ellen's frustration at finding her usual tactics. Failing. By now, she's likely escalated to calling the Chicago police for a wellness check. Desperate to regain control, let them come. When they arrive, they'll find a happy, well-cared-for child and a mother who has finally found her voice. They'll see what Ellen has refused to see, that love doesn't demand servitude. That family isn't measured in meals cooked, but in respect given. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve for the first time in years. I feel the holiday's promise of peace. Not because I've silenced myself to keep others comfortable, but because I finally spoken the truth loud enough for myself to hear it. As I close my journal, my phone buzzes again. A text from Hannah. "Mom's losing it. She accidentally sent a message to the wrong group chat saying we can't tell the Bradleys. She refused. Just say she's working Christmas." Several family friends were included. Everyone knows now. I set the phone down without responding. The truth is emerging. Without my effort, the carefully constructed family image is crumbling under the weight of its own deception. Outside our window, snow begins to fall, gentle flakes descending on a city that has unexpectedly become our sanctuary. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges. But tonight, in this moment, we are exactly where we should be. Christmas morning finds us in the golden glow of the Waldorf Astoria grand dining room. Lily spreads strawberry jam on her third piece of toast, her eyes wide at the crystal chandeliers above us. She's wearing the sparkly dress we bought specially for this occasion, and her hair is neatly brushed. No rushing this morning. No tense family breakfast with Mom's disapproving glances. My phone vibrates on the table. Ellen's name flashes on the screen. The third call in 20 minutes. I silence it and turn it face down, refusing to let her intrude on our peace. But a voicemail notification appears seconds later, and something tells me I should listen. Ashley. My mother's voice sounds strained, theatrical. I'm in the hospital. My heart. The doctors aren't sure what's happening. Please come home. Lily needs her grandmother. I need my daughter. I stare at the phone. That familiar twist of panic and guilt rising in my chest. But something feels wrong. 3 years of nursing at Hennepin County Medical Center has taught me the rhythm of real emergencies. More pancakes, Mom? Lily asks, oblivious to the manipulation, attempting to breach our sanctuary. In a minute, sweetheart. I step away from our table and call Sandra, my friend in hospital administration back in Minneapolis, Ellen Miller. No, we don't have any admission under that name today. Sandra confirms after checking nothing at Abbott or Methodist either. Are you okay, Ash? The relief that floods me is immediately followed by a cold anger while I'm watching Lily delight on Christmas morning. My mother is fabricating medical emergencies to regain control. Back at the table, my phone lights up with a text from Hannah. Just call Mom. She's falling apart. You've made your point then, Ron. Haven't you punished us enough? It's Christmas, for God's sake. Cousin Jill Ellen is devastated. What kind of daughter abandons her family at Christmas? Uncle Pete, your mother raised you better than this. The coordinated guilt offensive would have worked perfectly a week ago. I would have been packing our bags, apologizing for ruining Christmas, promising to make it up to them. I forward the screenshots to Dr. Brennan, my therapist. Her response comes quickly. Textbook manipulation. Stay strong. This is why we prepared 80. The messages continue through brunch. Ellen's escalation is impressive in its desperation. I'm contacting Lily's school tomorrow. They should know you're mentally unstable. Hannah follows with. Mom's talking about getting a lawyer. Don't make this worse. Ron's contribution cuts deep. Your job could be at risk if we have to involve authorities. The final message arrives at 12:17 p.m. Call by 3 p.m. or consider yourself disowned. This is your last chance, Ashley. I set my phone down, my hands trembling slightly. Ellen has enlisted her charity board friends now. Their messages of concern flood my inbox. The pressure feels almost physical, like the air itself is constricting around me. Mom. Lily's voice breaks through my thoughts. She's standing beside me, concerned, etching her small features. Your phone keeps making noise. Are we in trouble? What's wrong? She asks, her voice small. Grandma left a message saying she's sick, but she's not really in the hospital. Is she lying? Lily's directness cuts to the heart of it. Yes, sweetheart. I guide her to a quiet corner of the dining room, away from other guests. Sometimes people say things that aren't true to make us do what they want. Lily considers this, her brow furrowed in concentration. Then her face brightens with recognition. Like when Tommy at school says he won't be my friend if I talk about trains. The parallel strikes me with such clarity that I almost laugh. Exactly like that, sweetheart. That's not very nice, Lily says firmly. No, it's not. I touch her cheek gently. And we don't have to do what people want just because they try to make us feel bad. We return to our suite after brunch, while Lily arranges her new colored pencils by the window overlooking Michigan Avenue. I open my laptop and create a private blog. I title it Our Little Escapes and write our first post. If they don't save you a chair, build your own table. I added a photo of Lily and me at brunch, our faces relaxed and genuinely happy. Possibly the first authentic Christmas photo we've had in years. The clock on my phone shows 2:37 p.m. Ellen's ultimatum looms, but I feel strangely calm. I silence my phone and join Lily at the window, watching holiday shoppers bustling on the street below. Comes and goes without acknowledgement. A weight lifts from my shoulders as I realize I've been holding my breath for years. What my family doesn't know is how methodically I've prepared for this moment. Hospital administration has been briefed on potential interference from Ellen. Lily's school counselor has documentation about our healthy boundaries setting. Dr. Brennan's records establish my mental stability. Our finances, though tight, are independent and secure. The evidence folder sits untouched in my cloud storage. Its power lies in having it, not using it. Later that evening, I composed a single email to my family. My tone is professional, calm, without accusation. I am open to a relationship under these conditions. Respect for Lily. No demands for unpaid labor. An acknowledgement of past behavior. Professional family therapy would be required before any meaningful reconciliation. I attached selected screenshots of manipulative texts spanning years and a simple spreadsheet showing the one-way financial relationship, $11,400 given to family in the past year alone. The facts speak for themselves. I end with, I am not angry. I am awake. The following day, I learned from Hannah's fiancé, Brad, that his father, a child psychologist, facilitated a difficult conversation with my family. He provided a professional perspective on Elon's behavior patterns. Hannah began questioning her lifelong role as the golden child. Ron spoke independently of Ellen, a first in their marriage. Brad himself is reconsidering his relationship with Hannah. Seeing familiar warning signs, Ellen's authority in the family has diminished permanently. The power dynamics that kept me trapped for years have shattered. For the first time, I hold firm without emotional investment in the outcome. A week after Christmas, a letter arrives from Hannah forwarded by Mrs. Johnson. I examine the Minneapolis postmark, feeling a strange detachment as I open it. The first line is visible as I unfold the paper. I'm starting therapy next week. I look at it for a long moment, surprised by genuine change where I expected more manipulation. Then I carefully fold it again and set it aside. I'll read it when I'm ready. The power to engage on my terms feels like the greatest gift I've ever received. 4 months later, the Minneapolis spring sun streamed through Ashley's kitchen window, melting the last patches of stubborn snow outside. She sipped her coffee, watching a robin tug at a worm in the newly exposed soil of her small garden patch. Nature's reset button had been pushed, and not just outside her window. Mom? Can we see the seals at the zoo in San Diego? Lily's voice carried from her bedroom, where she was arranging her train models by historical era. Absolutely. And the pandas? Too. Ashley opened her laptop to check their flight details for next month's trip. After Chicago at Christmas, she'd promised Lily they would make these adventures a tradition. Just the two of them exploring the world at their own pace. She clicked over to her blog. Our little escape's 3,000 followers now. Not massive by influencer standards, but substantial for what it was, a community of people reclaiming their lives from toxic family dynamics. The comment section of her latest post brimmed with stories similar to hers, each one a mirror reflecting different angles of the same painful truth. I set my first boundary last week. My hands shook, but I did it. After reading your Chicago story, I booked my own solo trip for Easter. Your words gave me permission to stop answering my mother's 3 a.m. calls. Her phone buzzed with a text notification. Hannah Ashley's heart no longer raced with anxiety when her sister's name appeared. 4 months of therapy had changed that reaction. Found a vintage Union Pacific dining car model at an estate sale. Thought Lily might like to add it to her collection. Coffee next Tuesday? Ashley smiled. Their relationship existed in a delicate state of rebuilding. Weekly therapy for Hannah. Monthly joint sessions for them both. No contact with Ellen. Still, that healing required more distance. Ron occasionally met them for coffee baby steps, as her therapist called them last week. He'd asked Lily about her favorite train engines, and his interest had seemed genuine. Same characters, completely different dynamics. Dr. Reynolds needs coverage for the pediatric wing this weekend. Her colleague's voice carried an apologetic tone over the phone. I know it's your weekend off, but she specifically asked for you. Said you're the only one who can handle the staffing coordination and the new charting system. Ashley recognized the old cycle, the quiet expectation that she would once again set aside her own plans, needs and limits, because someone else couldn't manage their own. The familiar heaviness of obligation pressed against her chest. She paused, took a steady breath, and said, I can cover Saturday morning until 2. But I promised Lily we'd see the Science Museum exhibit before it closes Sunday. Someone else will need to take the evening and Sunday shifts. When they mentioned Dr. Reynolds, she nodded. I understand, and I'm happy to help within those boundaries. The staff schedule I set up should make it easier for whoever handles the rest. When the call ended, Ashley braced for the old wave of guilt to hit her, but it didn't. Instead, calm settled in. Later, she opened her journal and wrote, I am not responsible for other people's happiness. It had been a year since that realization. 1 full year since she'd learned that weekends could arrive with sunshine and quiet joy. Ashley had invited a small circle to her apartment to celebrate. Dr. Patel and his wife brought warm samosas. Mrs. Johnson from next door carried a blooming orchid. and 3 friends from her support group arrived with bottles of sparkling cider. Lily proudly displayed her train collection, delighting guests who listened and asked questions about engines and tracks. No one rushed her stories. No silent glances passed over her head. Dr. Patel raised his glass as they gathered around Ashley's refinished farmhouse table, a flea market find turned centerpiece of her home. To Ashley, he said, who reminds us what courage really looks like. Laughter rippled through the room. The air felt light, easy, no tension, no pretending. Just peace. Home, at last, had become a sanctuary. Subscribe.